All right, Craptacular Review. I've stopped saying like episode blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I'm just going with week. This is week 3. I'm gonna get really confused really quick if I'm going by both. One number for episode, one number for week.
Yeah.
So fuck all of that. So yeah. First things first, I'd like to apologize to all the listeners for last week's episode. That sucked ass. We dropped the ball. It just wasn't good.
Yeah.
I
haven't listened to it yet, but like I had a feeling while we were recording, it's just,
Yeah, we were struggling big time at the end to think of anything to talk about. And
yeah.
I blame the lack of alcohol.
Agreed. Most definitely.
Because the movie was plenty fun. I just couldn't
find a rhythm.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it. So yeah, we're going to try things differently. First off, we're going back to drinking beer. One we're doing right now is Lagunitas Little Something Ale.
Oh, yes.
Personal favorite of mine, actually.
Ditto.
This has quickly become a go-to beer of mine when we go to one of our favorite bars, an arcade bar called Analog.
Yeah. Why they didn't go with Barcade, I'll never know, but...
It's not bad. Maybe they didn't want to get confused with the soccer league Barclays. Was it Barclays?
I don't know. Barclay, shut up and jam.
But yeah, it's definitely one of my go-tos there. It's pretty well priced compared to the rest of the ones I had there. It's got a pretty impressive alcohol content and it tastes fantastic.
Definitely worth it.
So yeah, there's really no downside to it. And
the little something extra was the one that we didn't care for, right?
Yeah, we had that one.
I think we had it once.
We had that on one of the video podcast episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, that one I wasn't ecstatic with. It had a little... It was one of those where, like, it's hop heavy and then tries to put a little malt in there.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of those styles.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to go with hops, I don't mind if you want to put a little weed in there. If you want to do some floral stuff, okay.
Right.
The malt is just a complete and total contrast.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work for me.
Doesn't belong in a pale ale.
So, yeah, let's go ahead and let's hit some off-topic stuff first.
Yeah. Been kind of a horrible week.
Yeah, it hasn't been a great week.
Yeah.
This is if you are a British celebrity, this has not been a good week for you, especially if you're 69 years old and has cancer. We lost both David Bowie and Alan Rickman.
Yeah.
Which I have some thoughts on the Bowie one. I was never a really big fan of David Bowie.
Yeah.
I never sought him out that much.
Yeah.
I was familiar with some of his work.
Right.
Fame.
Yeah.
Let's Dance. I'm more familiar with people just singing Ground Control to Major Tom than the actual song. So much so off the top of my head I don't know what the title is.
Space Oddity.
Oh, so it's the same title as the album then?
Yes.
Okay. That's how bad that is. Yeah. I always hear people like, Ground Control to Major Tom.
I used to, we had at a job I used to work at, a steel warehouse, one of the overhead crane operators was named Tom. And that's how I would page him over the walkie-talkie, just Ground Control to Major Tom. And he'd get so pissed. And I kind of wish I could go back there just to do that to him.
Why was he pissed?
I don't know,
because he's an idiot?
He was.
Okay.
A huge idiot. He was fat, so...
Maybe he's mad because he's an idiot and he momentarily thought he was in space.
Yeah.
And you confused him.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so, okay, I never was an active fan of David Bowie.
Yeah.
But... It was still like it was a punch in the gut to see that he passed. It was like
out of nowhere for both him and Rickman.
It really threw me because I knew that he had just come out with a new album, Black Star, and I found out I saw the headline of it on the homepage for Wikipedia.
Yeah,
and they always have like a photo of like the top article there, and when I first saw the photo, I just assumed it was going to be an article about the new album.
Yeah.
And then I read the headline and I was completely blown away. And it kind of reminds me of when Dale Earnhardt died.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about NASCAR.
Right.
Never have. I have no plans to ever.
Yeah.
But he's such a big name.
Yeah.
And it's so sudden that even people who have no interest in what they do, it hits them.
Yeah.
And that, I think that was the case with Bowie. And it actually kind of made me go out and seek out some of his stuff.
Yeah.
I watched the music video for both Lazarus and Black Star, pulling up a couple tracks here and there. Got halfway through Ziggy Stardust.
Rise and Fall?
The Rise, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was, from what I listened to, I thought that was fantastic.
It's an amazing album.
I think
it's pretty much the only album of his, I think, that I've listened to the whole thing.
Okay. I think I left off about Mrs. Stardust. I think that was the title of the track. And yeah, I've enjoyed what I've come across of his.
Yeah, Rock and Roll Suicide is by far my favorite song by his. It's the final track on that album.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to. I do plan on going back and finishing the album.
Yeah.
But so that's with Bowie, and then with
Alan Rickman. Yeah.
I think this should be left more to you because you're a major Harry Potter fan.
Oh yeah, yeah, and even reading the books, Snape was easily one of my favorite characters, and he did a phenomenal job bringing that role to life. And Sarah actually pointed out to me, apparently before the books were even completed, J.K. Rowling had personally told Alan Rickman what happens to Severus Snape in the end. So like during filming for some of the last few movies,
he was able to incorporate that into the
he was, and like the directors were like, okay, do it, and Rickman was just like, no, that's not right, that's not how he would do it, trust me, I know more than you.
The next thing I want to talk about is this week they announced the nominees for the Oscars.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and ignore discussing the thing that everyone else is discussing on social media, the Oscars so white thing.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck that. I don't give a shit. It's there. The Oscars are here to celebrate excellence, not celebrate diversity.
Yeah.
You want to celebrate diversity, go hold hands around the world or some fucking shit. Go look at a rainbow. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just saying buzzwords at this point. Yeah. But yeah, just there may have been some stuff that should have been acknowledged. Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
I know got high praise this year.
Oh yeah.
It got one nomination, Best Original Screenplay. That's it. Yeah, maybe should have gotten more.
Yeah. I haven't seen it yet.
I haven't either. I want to.
I very much want to. I just haven't gotten around to it.
I will say, like, although from what I've gathered from it, from what I've heard of it, it does sound like they do a bit of like glamorizing of the artists.
Yeah,
which like
I think it's to be expected to some degree.
I was
given who we're talking about at least.
I was dreading that a little bit.
Yeah.
I was draying that a little bit.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point. The one specific thing I was like, so they're just not. Are they? Again, I'm planning on seeing the movie, so I may be proven wrong here. But are they just not going to comment on the fact that Dr. Dre, unprovoked, just showed up and beat the shit out of a female journalist because she interviewed Eazy-E after he left the group? That's fucked up. That's all right though. He's a billionaire now, so it's all fine.
Oh yeah. Settle out of court.
Yes. I'm going to stick with talking about a movie that I can't fucking believe got completely ignored.
Yeah.
And that was Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Absolutely. He got like, I think like visual effects or something like that.
Yeah, it was like sound
original
design.
Score.
Original score was the biggest one.
Yeah.
And then it was like sound design, sound editing, visual effects.
Yeah.
That's it. And I'm amazed by that.
Yeah.
So many people were impressed by it.
Yeah.
It's got...
It won both of us over after...
Oh, God, yes.
Like, being reluctant to call ourselves Star Wars fans, I think you could agree for the
most definitely.
last several years, especially with it, forcing its way into everyday culture.
It's my disassociation with Star Wars has basically been going on for 18 years. It's definitely ramped up in like the past 5 or 10.
Yeah.
But it pretty much started with the special editions, not liking what they did.
Yeah.
And Lucas basically saying, well, if you don't want that, too bad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I remember watching. There was a documentary on Netflix called "The People versus George Lucas."
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I've wanted to, but
It's good. I remember that there is a moment in the documentary where there's talking about like his alterations to the original trilogy, and he kind of suggests, like, he didn't have a hand in the documentary at all. He wasn't interviewed or anything. It's all archive footage.
right.
But it sounds like he is saying that I altered the original negatives of the films in order to do the special editions.
Jesus.
Which, if that is the case, everyone has a right to be pissed.
Yeah.
That's fucking ridiculous. I hope
That's some like
true.
Orwellian 1984 changing history type shit going on.
That would really piss me off, because especially since at least the first film, Empire and Jedi might be, but at least the first film is registered with the National Library of Congress for preservation, so that's a big no-no.
Yeah.
But yeah, it started. My disassociation started with that. Didn't get any better with the prequels. Didn't get any better with the huge ramp up of commercialization.
Yeah.
And it really hit an apex with I can't go a fucking day without seeing a Star Wars reference on the internet. And that's not just in reference to the new movie coming out.
Yeah, it's
been
everything.
that way. Yeah, since like day one of my Facebook account.
May the 4th be with you, Revenge of the 5th. I've been drinking half a beer, so don't mind my word talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, just the way, like I say, it shoehorned itself into everyone's life, and most people were content with it, but I don't know, it became very grating after a while for me and for you.
Yes.
I believe, so.
I think we could probably both agree. I've been more aggravated by it than you.
Yeah.
I mean, not to downgrade your aggravation towards it, but yeah, it's just been like just fucking constant. I think it could be said that I have lost one friend over this situation because he was a big Star Wars fan. Well, I would assume still is.
Yeah.
And yeah, he just got fucking livid anytime I was critical about the prequels. And
yeah.
You remember that? I remember you chimed in on the conversations on the comment sections of some statuses.
I'm trying to remember. Was it like Matt? Was the guy's name? Okay, yeah, I remember. And yeah, he just. I hate to just throw around the term fanboy, but he seemed like a fanboy. He seemed like.
I'm not gonna. It's been.
Yeah,
it's been.
From what I recall, he just seemed like the type where it's like, well, it's got a Star Wars logo on it, so it's good. There's some redeeming quality about it.
I'll say this, like, I'm not gonna. I don't want to rip into him too much, but I'll leave it at. From my point of view, he never made a terribly viable case in defending the prequels.
And from my point of view, the Jedi are evil.
Yes, there is. But so yeah,
God
damn. I went into this movie, and I Force Awakens. We went to it, and my mentality was just, man, trailers look good. I don't give a shit if it's the opening night or whatever. It's the opening night, so it should be fun.
Yeah, my biggest, I guess, source of optimism going into the movie the first time was George Lucas didn't have a hand in it. Like, it pretty much as soon as it said, like, yeah, he's pretty much got nothing to do with this, I'm like, okay, well, it's got a shot of being good.
Mm-hmm. And
I was blown away.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was, I say it's the best film of 2015.
I still don't know if I can put it above Mad Max.
That I had a hard time deciding that at first.
It's... And I'm not even, like, I mean, there's a lot in common between The Force Awakens and the original Star Wars.
Yeah, plot-wise.
Yeah.
Quite a few things.
And I'm not saying that robs from the overall movie, but it just, like, I think that's probably the biggest determining factor in my placing Mad Max ahead of it. Is just, Mad Max was, I mean, yeah, it's also a reboot of a long dormant franchise. I mean, they haven't made a Star Wars movie since '85, which I think is when I'm not counting the prequels.
Okay. Because they take place before the 85 film?
Because I don't want to acknowledge their existence.
Okay.
Having rewatched them all three recently, they don't get better with age.
No, they don't. It's just, it's like, yeah, saying episode 3 is the best one is not the same as saying episode 3 is a good one.
I don't even know if I'd call it the best one.
Yeah, you said, I think you thought episode 2?
2, again, that could just be because it's the one I've seen the least, so it's the one that I don't have etched into my memory as vividly as the other two, but...
I still, we both watched the I think you got through all 3 of the prequels before we saw the
I went
Force
through all
Awakens.
6 chronologically leading up to Force Awakens.
Now, in terms of release or in terms of setting in the story?
Setting in the story.
Okay.
1 through 6. I ended on a decent note.
Yeah.
Well, I say that, but I ended with the sight of Hayden Christensen's CGI ghost, so I guess I didn't end on that high note.
Well, no, it doesn't. Well, technically, it doesn't Return of the Jedi. It ends with them basically posing for like their spring break photo on Endor. That's basically how the one ends. Like everyone's got their arms wrapped around each other's shoulders, and like, yeah, all right, we did it. Down the Empire. Yeah, I didn't end. Well, I was gonna say I didn't end on the best note, but then again, I did see. Episode 3 was the last one I watched, but then I also went back to see The Force Awakens after that, so it depends on where you're looking. I remember there's a moment in Episode 3 that I felt like really summed it up towards the end of the movie where Anakin murders a large group of children 9 minutes after he says murdering is not the Jedi way. And Obi-Wan and Yoda come across the bodies of the kids, and like this should be a very emotional moment, and Yoda just, I'm not going to do the voice, I'm just going to say the line, but Yoda just goes, killed not by clones, this Padawan by lightsaber he was. And I was like, you like just Yoda fucking shit on everything, why don't you? Jesus. It's supposed to be a moment.
I fucking hate Yoda as a character. I'm sorry. I
liked him in Empire.
In Empire, I really enjoyed him. Like
his backwards talk is kept to a minimum.
That and he's had some genuinely funny moments too. Like
he had some,
hitting R2 with the stick. And,
at first he's like the goofball comic relief, and then there's that moment where he kind of turns and like he's just like I can't work with him.
Yeah.
With Luke, and like that works.
Yeah.
No pun intended. But the prequels are just fucking garbage. So expectations were like rock bottom.
Yeah.
And like this movie is Force Awakens is just unbelievable. So much so that like it's almost like we're just a couple days shy of an entire month since we first saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'll just pull up some like music cues from the soundtrack from certain moments.
Yeah.
I want to keep spoilers out of this, so I'll just say from a scene on a bridge.
Over troubled water.
Most definitely. And then I'll say basically like the last minute's worth of music before the credits start at the end. Those like I still hear those, and it's like, oh wow, ooh, emotions. Yeah. Them feels, bro. And I'm very disappointed that was not acknowledged more in the nominees. I think there's some movies. I was a little surprised that Hateful Eight wasn't nominated.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I kind of expected. I haven't seen it yet, but
yeah, it's fine. It's not. I feel like both Django Unchained and Hateful Eight have kind of they left me a little disappointed, both of them.
Yeah,
I don't feel.
I've only seen Django Unchained once. I'd like to give it a rewatch, but I kind of felt the same way after that one. I'm like, it was good, but
like both of them, it's like there's great scenes in there, but I don't know. I don't get as invested with him as I did with like Kill Bill or Inglourious Basterds or Pulp Fiction. honestly, I don't even know if I'd say I'm invested with either one of them as I am with Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
But yeah, The Revenant. That's kind of my pick at the moment for like that'll take everything.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if DiCaprio.
Have you watched that yet?
Yes.
Is it good?
It's good. Again, I don't think there's anything this year that beats it for cinematography. It's a beautiful movie.
Yeah.
It gets a little long in the tooth though. It's just like a lot of suffering.
Yeah.
I don't know if this. I wouldn't say this is DiCaprio's best performance. So if he wins it for this, it's like, oh, let's throw him a bone, sort of thing. What did you have any other off-topic stuff?
There was a giant Powerball drawing.
Oh yes, it was 1.3 billion.
I think it ended up at 1.5. 3 winners. So if any of those winners are listening, we do have a Patreon account set up.
Yes.
Feel free to pledge to that.
And when you're interviewed on Good Morning America, please remind people to like and subscribe us.
Yes, absolutely.
Come on, don't be selfish. Come on.
Yeah.
Pass it on.
I was going to say pay it forward, but it's like, well, we're not really doing you a favor, so...
I'm not... I'm not film familiar enough with Haley Joel Osment's entire filmography to really say anything about Pay It Forward, so...
Yeah.
He was in a movie called Pay It Forward.
I know.
Okay. Well, you weren't pissing your pants out of excitement and laughter, so I was like, maybe he didn't get the joke.
No, I got the joke.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry.
Willie hears you. Willie don't care. Couple of things before I just got a couple of brief off-topic things. Just this morning, they dropped a trailer for a movie that no one even knew existed.
I haven't seen it yet, but
10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
At least I think that's the name.
I believe so, yeah.
Who knows? I mean, that's what it says there, but then again, you want to flash back to the first trailer for Cloverfield, they didn't even put the fucking title of the movie in that trailer, so who knows? Maybe they're just messing with us. Looks pretty good. I'm glad that they're not going with the found footage routine again.
I did read somewhere that, it's not found footage, and I was glad to hear that.
Yeah,
so.
that is a trend that's done.
Yeah.
It's ruined. It may have like a rebirth down the line, kind of like how slasher movies had a rebirth in the mid-90s with Scream and I Know What You Did Last Summer. But for now, let's just let it lay dormant.
Yeah.
Until that's our week on the Cult Movie Challenge.
Yeah. Which that's a ways down the road, if I remember right.
Yes.
It's
and that's also one that I'm contemplating changing the movie. I don't even remember why I picked the movie that I picked.
What do you have picked?
Lake Mungo or Mungo. Horrible fucking name.
Yeah.
Lake Mongo McMichael?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm thinking about changing it to this one called The Sacrament. It's from a director named Ty West, who I want to like.
Yeah.
I've seen a movie of his called House of the Devil, which I thought was just like, There's a difference between a horror movie that has a slow build and a horror movie that's not even has no aspects of horror whatsoever for the first hour.
Yeah.
It's like From Dusk Till Dawn. The entire first half of From Dusk Till Dawn is not a horror movie.
No, not at all.
This is House of the Devil is like, well, the entire first hour is just watching some babysitter be bored at a house. Nothing. And then maybe some Rosemary's Baby shit at the end. There we go. It's a movie. But he keeps on getting some high praise from horror fans, and I really want to like him.
Yeah.
So I would give this one a shot, and I'm intrigued by that, and I'm also intrigued by the fact that it's the found footage plot of this it's basically a found footage take on Jonestown. So that's got my interest. I've always been intrigued by the Brian Jonestown massacre.
Yes.
I wish I could take credit for that pun, but that's the name of a band for those not familiar. And the other final thing, I did recently see, and I'm very excited with this, and it's probably a good thing this is the last off-topic thing because this will get us a little bit closer to topic.
We're reaching
the upcoming film, The Disaster Artist, by James Franco.
Yes.
Starring the Franco brothers and Alison Brie and Seth Rogen. Just recently brought a new cast member on. Did you see?
Bryan Cranston.
Yes,
Yeah.
Walter White himself. As we are recording, I'm currently wearing a Los Pollos Hermanos t-shirt.
I am sitting across the table from him. I can confirm this.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited by that. Now it's like, oh, now we might get a little bit more recognition because that's an Oscar nominee right there. Yeah. He's in that film Trumbo about the
that's the elephant.
Conservative presidential contender elephant, which I guess is double elephant.
Yeah.
It's just simple math, folks.
Anyway.
Yeah. So, all right, let's fucking deal with this shit. I think we're not the only ones that were dreading this week. Pretty much everyone.
This week is Peplum.
Yeah.
For those who didn't read the title of the video.
AKA all of the
scandal.
all the Italian knockoffs of the biblical epics that were made in the 50s. The people that are active on the comments page for the challenge, it seems like this was not a week that people were looking forward to, and I totally understand that.
And as I said last week, this was kind of the one I was least looking forward to, and
and
I wasn't really won over by the genre.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I started to be for like maybe the first 20 minutes.
I would say like the middle of this movie had me like I was getting entertained by like plot twist and like but
I really hope you were just sitting here watching the movie and at some point just go ooh.
Yeah. I probably did. I just finished it like an hour and a half ago, so
yeah. I'm gonna try to explain the plot of this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe more than anything else, that's how it held my attention for the first 20 minutes, because I didn't feel like it was doing a really good job of telling its story.
Yeah.
It didn't help the fact that the cop we watched, it starts with like a little prologue title crawl.
All in Italian.
Yeah,
no
in
subs,
Italian,
no dubbing.
read in Italian.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what the fuck that was all about.
Like, I was picking pieces out, like different things, but the overall gist I did not.
The pretty much the moment that I saw it, I wasn't going to be able. It wasn't in my language. I was like, "Yep, I'm just going to wait. Just going to look around in the room."
You were looking around the room for a while. I remember it kind of drags on a little bit.
I think I was starting my computer up or something, and I'm glad I did for future purposes. Yeah. But yeah, we just get a title crawl of I don't know what, and then two people just walk out of the ocean and onto a beach.
Well, the lady is carried out of the ocean.
Okay, yeah.
By our, I guess, main protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm sure that contributes to me having a hard time understanding what the plot of the movie was for a while. I did a little searching online to kind of figure out what the fuck was going on. Yeah. Basically, and we get a flashback of this not too long into the movie.
Yeah.
Essentially, this is taking place shortly after the Trojan War.
Mm-hmm.
And the two people that came onto the beach, she is Helen of Troy.
Yes.
And he is a Trojan soldier that was tasked to protect her and get her out of the city and to safety. Yeah. And so they go on a ship voyage, and the ship sinks, and they wash up on shores of Egypt.
Yep.
Okay. Good. I got all that. It was really weird that it's like maybe 5 minutes of them wandering the desert. Yeah. And then we get the flashback.
Oh,
and
there's
then
an oasis. That's what leads us to the flashback. Like, they're in the middle of the oasis, or the mirage that he thought was the oasis.
Because they're trying to find out what the story is about Morning Glory. Yeah.
And then, she just, she's borderline dehydrated, and he's carrying her, and she just looks at him and says, "And maybe you're gonna be the one that saves me."
You didn't hold that long enough. And annoyingly enough,
Yeah.
it was like, maybe.
There you go.
Oh, Jesus, stop it.
Yeah, and maybe he's going to be the one that saves her. Because after all, they're in the middle of the desert. And, yeah, but yeah, she...
You have a way with words.
I really do. He's crying right now, for those of you who can't see.
But, which, by the way, with the Oasis thing, I thought they were going to kind of be like, oh, it was a mirage.
Yeah.
No. It was like, hey, there's an Oasis. Hey, remember that time? And then flashback.
Yeah. Well, like it's like she starts hallucinating or something. Like they're coming for me, and the city's on fire, and
Oh, that's right, yeah.
and then flashback to
That's right, because the
them
flashback...
storming.
Yeah, the flashback starts with, like, the pillaging and the ransacking of
Yeah.
Troy.
Yeah, and then we get a brief shot of that, and then they're in like the throne room or some royal chambers when a bunch of soldiers start rushing in,
And then we see he's one of the soldiers that's
Yeah.
being told, get her out of here. And,
Right.
And then we come back to regular time, and they're at a campsite.
yeah. Well, they're still wandering, and he's still like helping her along. They when we come back to them, they're still wandering the desert. He's still helping her along, and they see like a caravan of some sort, merchants, I don't know. And then like he goes and stands by like a cliff, and he's just, hey, 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 and then we cut to campsite.
The whole scene lasts like 1 minute
Yeah,
of just like, yeah, they're sleeping. You know, I might stab them
yeah,
and take their shit,
yeah.
which they don't have.
I was gonna say, yeah.
I don't really understand what the motive was, but whatever. Maybe.
Well, I think they did mention like oh, she's pretty. You know, we could sell her into slavery and make some serious buck. And they're like, but she's got a guard. He's sleeping. Let's stab him. Yeah, it's that simple. So, but Arian, being ever alert, sleeping with one eye open type thing.
It took me a while to catch what his name was.
Yeah.
Based on what I saw, I'm thinking it was like Aaron. Like just really weird way to pronounce Aaron.
Maybe.
like-
It's Arion.
I had it as Aron.
Or, yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Whatever, fuck it. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna call him Aaron.
So Aaron, he overhears the merchants, you know, when their dastardly plot to capture her and sell her into slavery, and he wakes her up, says, you know, if anything happens, just run to the horses and get out of here. And something
Brilliant
happens.
advice.
Yeah, something happens, and he says, "Quick, run!" And she just runs over the horses and stands there while he takes on 3 guys at once, which like we get pretty early on. We get the idea pretty early on that he's like ultimate badass. He's a really top-notch soldier, warrior, Spartan thing.
I do want to do a brief sidetrack here. There was one point during the movie where I had a flashback to a wonderful line from the movie Airplane. Have you've seen it, right?
Not in a long time, but yes.
Okay. There's a scene where, like, you know how, like, on big commercial planes like that, every now and then they'll invite like a little kid into the cockpit and show him around and everything, and it's just like, wow, and give him little plastic wings and everything. And
Yeah.
there's a scene in the movie like that, and the pilot of the plane, Peter Graves, he keeps on asking some really like eyebrow raising questions for the kid, and the one line, probably the most famous question, was like, Joey, do you like movies about gladiators? And I understand now more than ever where they were coming from with that. This was I don't know if it was intentional or not, but this was a bit of a homoerotic movie. As I would assume a lot of them are. It's just a lot of very muscular men wearing like little mini skirts.
Yeah.
And very well tanned and oiled at all times. Like it's either made by gay men or Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Splitting hairs, really. I mean,
I don't think he's gay. I think he's got an unnatural
affinity.
an unnatural affinity with the bodybuilding physique.
Yeah.
As anyone who has seen that animated GIF of him reacting to the top hat wearing bodybuilder will attest. Have you seen that one?
I don't think I've seen that.
That footage where like he's in the ring at like a desk and he's got like his little office chair, the big cushy office chair, and he's got like his feet up and he sees something that's coming down.
Oh,
originally something coming down like the entrance ramp. It's like, this has my attention. Whoa, this is really interesting. Whoa, wowee. And then he just like passes out. And they just take that footage and they splice it to a bodybuilder that walks out with like these showgirls wearing like a fucking top hat and a little bow tie, flexing his muscles. It's fantastic. It's a real blast. But it's a phenomenal 30 seconds. Yeah. You'll want to see it again, which you probably will unless you just turn it off, because it'll just start up again. It's an animated GIF. That's how it works, people.
Yeah. Come on, get with the times.
Yeah, come on. But you figured out how to find this podcast. You should know how to animate. I'm not going to say GIF. That's fucking stupid. I know how to spell. I know how to read. It's not peanut butter.
Yeah. It stands for graphical interchange format, not giraffical interchange format.
Mm-hmm. Giraffical Park. Mm. I could have gone with giraffe.
Yeah.
I took the long way. So, yeah, back to this shithole movie. They get rescued and brought to, like, some Egyptian temple thing.
Yeah.
Where there's, like, the
city of Thebes.
And there's, like, a king and shit. And basically, like, the rest of the movie is just, like, he wants Helen for himself so that he can build like a super government, or super regime.
And he's pretty smitten by her looks too. The whole time we get that.
She's pretty hot.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Probably not so much now.
No,
she's pushing 90.
Yeah, well, like it's kind of like I think from this era, and also from this country. Because she's also Italian. Claudia Cardinelli, who was in Once Upon a Time in the West and Fellini's 8.5.
Yeah.
Oh, man, she was a super hottie back then. Yeah, obviously she's not hot now. Who the fuck would expect
Anna Karina.
Anna Karina.
Same era.
Definitely. Jean-Luc Godard's muse.
Mm-hmm.
Just going to make random noises and hope I sound smart. Usually works.
It's gotten us this far in life. So.
I do remember there was one scene that I thought was, I got a little chuckle out of, where like shortly after they get, like the night of them arriving at the temple, they hold like a gladiator fight. It was basically like, all right, first one that can toss his competitor into the pool wins a gold plate.
Yeah.
It's like, what? And for some reason they decide the easiest way to go about this is to just have a fucking wrestling match. It's like, you'd think this whole thing would just be pushing.
Yeah.
You got to go into a pool, and it's not like it's an above ground.
Yeah. So
it's not even really a pool. It's basically just a rectangular fountain.
Yeah. So you got to Yamo be there. This thing you got to go up and over.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, there's no like. They were performing amateur wrestling moves, so like holds and grapples. They're not
Full Nelson at one point.
They're not doing like back suplexes, which could legitimately get someone into a pool.
Oh yeah.
Of course, no one's legitimately ever done a back suplex. You can't pull that off without the assistance of the person being suplexed.
Yeah.
They have to agree to this.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was funny. And I do just remember, like, hey, you want here? Like, chuck it out.
Yeah. And then he does, like, the backwards bow out of frame. Like,
I like that.
The old Popeye style. Like, I think I even commented on it. Like, salami.
He walked up towards him, bowed, walked back. It's like, might as well just stayed back. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah.
This was about the time that I started getting really fucking bored with the movie.
Yeah.
And this, I honestly can't tell you what the rest of the plot is. I know at one point, like, because when they first show up, what do you want to call him? King, Emperor, what is he?
Pharaoh.
Okay. when they first show up, the Pharaoh already has a love interest, and then Helen shows up. She's like, fuck the other one. I want Helen. And so obviously the other one's like, I don't care for this. And
Yeah.
like, all right.
At one point, like, I think it may have even been during this, like, the whole gladiator match, the Princess Nice,
Okay.
Nais, she...
Princess Nods.
Princess Common, she stands up and says, like, well, like, because Pharaoh's all smitten with Helen of Troy, so Princess Nice stands up and she's like, well, I can tell I'm not needed here.
Or wanted.
Yeah, it's like, so I'm gonna retire to my quarters, and like, he almost cuts her off, like just to be like, yeah, okay, bye.
Yeah. Well, I can see when I'm not okay.
It's like, well, obviously I'm not wanted here. Oh yeah, that's cool. Go.
I remember that moment. I was very.
Do you remember when they first arrive at the kingdom and she's like trying to prove that she's Helen of Troy, and there's like a merchant there selling some stuff, and he's like, well, I can vouch for that. That's absolutely Helen of Troy. Like, and so the Pharaoh's like, it's like, oh, if you are Helen of Troy, who's this guy? She's like, oh, that's the merchant. Blah, 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 says his name. And then the Pharaoh immediately, like, without so much as a second guess, like, you are Helen. Oh, welcome. Sorry for all the shit, but...
You think you would have gotten an email?
Yeah.
I remember there was, like, a scene where it was like, how do we know you are who you say you are? And in my mind was, I don't care.
Yeah.
Don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But here's my sporadic memories of the movie that I only watched 24 hours ago. I remember at one point someone hits a gong, and it reminds me of the opening of the Mortal Kombat techno theme. I remember trying to think of what the terminology is for this. Like the handmaiden. There was like a handmaiden that knew the identity of an assassin.
Yeah.
And just before she says it, she gets struck by an arrow and goes like, ah! And that made me laugh.
I think that may have... I thought that was the actual princess.
Was it?
I think so.
Okay.
Again, it's been a couple hours since I saw that part, but...
More than me.
Yeah.
And I remember there's supposed to be a climactic battle scene at the end that is clearly just splicing in footage of like an army from another movie.
Yeah.
It's very obvious. They're trying. Actually, no, they're not even trying. They're not even trying to make these match up, because like you're seeing footage of what is clearly from this movie because it's the actors.
Yeah.
And there's just like two of them on a chariot, and then they're just kind of slowly trotting, and then you cut to swarm of like 50 people in the distance going at full blast. They're supposed to be right behind them, and then cut back to them slowly trotting. Yeah. It's fucking bullshit, man. You'd be lapped already.
Yeah. I thought some of the large scale battle scenes were pretty entertaining, just how a lot of cheesy deaths. And
I
silliness
remember,
going on. I'm like,
I remember some of the combatants.
Yeah.
They didn't really seem like they were putting their all into it.
Yeah.
It's just like kind of like dainty wrist, sword swipe sort of thing. It's like, this isn't really registering very much on audio, is it? Me just kind of swinging my wrist to the side of the camera or to the side of the microphone. I was about to say cameras. Like, well, it was a video podcast where we also didn't use cameras. Yeah. So it was never going to work. I don't. Do you have anything else on this movie?
There was not really.
Okay.
Like looking.
You're trying, and it's like, fuck it.
Yeah. At one point, I'm like, I I started watching this yesterday. I came home early from work because I was feeling like garbage. Sat down. Sat down to watch it. For those who can't see, which is everyone listening to this, Justin was about to pour his half-drink beer into his full... Well, the remnants of his open beer into his freshly opened
It's
beer.
actually a good thing I took a look because I was about ready to put like an entire third of a beer into another beer bottle. That
And I saw that happening. I saw that happening, and I'm just like, is he gonna do? All right, well,
this life of beer chemistry is gonna blow up in your face.
Yeah. But yeah, I began watching this yesterday, and I thought I was getting a good ways into it. I'm like, all right, well, this is probably at least an hour, and I looked at the time. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm 27 minutes into this.
That's pretty much right around the time where I was like, fuck, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, it's not the 3-hour-long epic that Spartacus is, but it sure feels like it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's in terms of production wise, it's competent enough.
Yeah,
I don't necessarily have a problem with any of the acting. It's just,
it's all dubbed anyway.
Yeah, it's just fucking bland. It's really generic, and I think that's pretty representative of this genre, the Peplum genre.
Oh yeah.
Which, sorry everybody. I knew going in. It's 52 weeks. There's gonna be some stinkers.
Yeah,
it's gonna.
Let's get them out of the way early enough. Although next week should be a lot of fun.
Forward to next week so much. God. Shaw Brothers. Oh my God, it's so good. I almost want to change it because I've seen at least 2 of the movies in the One-Armed Swordsman series.
Yeah.
That's one of those where, it's kind of weird. I think there's only 3 movies that are officially in the series.
Is that Zatoichi?
No, Zatoichi, that's Blind Samurai.
Yeah, okay.
And that's Japanese. Shaw Brothers is Hong Kong.
That's right.
One-Armed there was a Zatoichi versus the One-Armed Swordsman. But I don't think that's not official.
Yeah.
Because if I remember correctly, there's the One-Armed Swordsman, and then there's the sequel, Return of the One-Armed Swordsman. And from what I've gathered, the actor that played the role in both of those films really pissed off the production company, so they said, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
Sent him packing, and then they recast the role with the new One-Armed Swordsman, which was essentially a reboot.
Yeah.
I've seen the first one, and I saw the new one.
Okay.
Both of those are fantastic movies. Really impressive. And I almost want to switch to one of those.
Okay. I'm down for whatever.
Yeah. Let's do that. I think I will switch that. Let's go with the new.
Okay. I'm going to have to get that from you before you leave.
I remember if I don't have the new one, then we'll just go with the first one. But if
Okay.
I have the new one, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
I remember there's a fight sequence at the end. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's those 3. Those are the 3 official ones, and then there's Zatoichi versus One-Armed Swordsman, and then there was the Master of the Flying Guillotine, which also has a One-Armed Swordsman. And I think with both of those, the Zatoichi versus and the Flying Guillotine, I think both of those, it's the original actor.
Oh, nice.
That was just like, I want to capitalize on this, even though I don't have the rights to. It's actually kind of funny because Master Flying Guillotine, the Flying Guillotine was also a Shaw Brothers movie that had a sequel. So then they stole that. And so this is just a mashup of 2 ripoffs.
Yeah.
But anyway, back on track with Peplum. There's not a lot to say about the genre, or it's not even really right to say genre, the movement.
Yeah.
I would say this is probably the earliest example of the Italian exploitation cycles. Where,
America's doing this and it's making lots of money, so let's do 400 of these.
Yeah. This was
it's pretty much a direct precursor to spaghetti westerns, if I'm not mistaken.
Most definitely. Yeah. Oh God, there was the Peplum movement, whatever I'm gonna say movement because it's not even really a genre. That was pretty much inspired by the success of like Spartacus,
Yeah.
Ben-Hur,
Done that.
yes, Barabbas, Fall of the Roman Empire,
Yeah.
all those movies. And then they made like literally 100 of these movies.
Oh yeah.
And then it died out.
Yeah.
And then Sergio Leone and Eastwood, they went ahead and they made Fistful of Dollars for a few dollars more, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So that got people's attention.
Yeah.
Then Django was made, and that was the first of the knockoff spaghetti westerns. That's not to say, well, yeah, you could kind of make the case the original Django is a knockoff. It's basically the same fucking plot as Fistful of Dollars, which itself is the same fucking plot as Yojimbo, Kurosawa movie. But yeah, then literally hundreds of spaghetti westerns are made.
Yeah.
And then it dies out. And then I think the next one would probably be Dawn of the Dead.
Okay.
And then that started, that inspired Lucio Fulci's Zombie, or Zombie 2, however you want to refer to it, because Dawn of the Dead was titled Zombie in Italy. And then that starts the big horror craze of the late 70s and early 80s. Even if it goes to the late 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
it lasted a while.
That was pretty much it for the Italian exploitation cycles. I mean, there were some other sub ones. There was a cannibal craze. There was the Mad Max knockoff craze. Yeah. Mad Max Escape from New York sort of thing. Whole post-apocalyptic. And there were, some other ones here and there. Giallo was another one.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's in...
That's sort of just...
That's kind of between spaghetti westerns and horror.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was the first one. I'm much more interested in the movies that the Peplum genre is inspired by. Yeah. I've seen a few of them.
I haven't really seen any that I can recall.
I've seen at least, the original run. I've seen at least Spartacus and Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
I think both of those are phenomenal movies.
And I need to watch both of those.
They're amazing.
I just need to watch more Kubrick movies in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be Spartacus. And yeah, Ben-Hur, William Wyler, if I remember correctly, is the name of the director.
Okay.
Who I very often get confused with Billy Wilder.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ben-Hur is a fantastic movie. I didn't really know if I was going to like it as much as I did.
Yeah.
Because it's somewhat heavy on the Christian symbolism, mythology, what have you. But it's not preachy.
Not preachy. Yeah.
So it didn't rub me the wrong way at all.
Yeah. That's actually kind of how I felt about Bruce Almighty.
I've watched very, very little Bruce Almighty. I remember it was on the TV at my cousin's house once, and I remember like people were just like, this movie is so funny, and I just saw the scene where he made something come out of like a robber's butt or something.
Yeah, it was a monkey.
Okay. And I was just like,
and it was
fucking Christ.
Fuck, what's his name? The guy who plays Hector in the Fast and the Furious movies, and he's pretty much always typecast as like an East LA style.
You could correct yourself all you want to, but I've already typed the word cast.
Anyway.
Yeah, I basically from the very, hey, maybe I'm wrong, but from what I've seen of Bruce Almighty, I just kind of got the feeling it's like, oh, this is just an Adam Sandler movie that Adam Sandler was too busy to make. So Jim Carrey's like, I'll take that paycheck.
Yeah, I for what it is, I enjoy it. Maybe it's the nostalgia. Like, it takes me back to a time in my life where I didn't hate my life, and so I associate those feelings with it. But like...
Just like Jim Carrey's like, I'll take that paycheck, and Morgan Freeman's like, I'll have one too. I was doing an impression at work a couple nights ago, just like I just had every now and then you have that moment, it's like, oh yeah, and I just had that moment, it's like, oh shit, there was a time where Morgan Freeman was a child.
I don't know if that's ever been proven though.
I was just with some coworkers. I was like, I'll trade you my Charizard for a Jigglypuff. I know that's not a good trade, but I don't have a Jigglypuff. I know they didn't have Pokemon back then.
Yeah.
I'll trade you my level 2 rock. I don't know. Ghost likes it. I like what I've seen of the original run of the biblical epics.
Yeah.
Or biblical, as I like to occasionally say. Because I like to say things wrong.
Yeah.
I probably even have more experience with the rebirth of them that started at like the beginning of the 2000s with Gladiator.
I still haven't seen Gladiator. Either.
Oh my god, that's such a phenomenal movie. So good.
Yeah.
I've
seen Bruce Almighty. Would that be a biblical epic?
You just count that for everything. Munich, is that anything like Bruce Almighty?
Well, I watched the French dub of Bruce Almighty, so that's like new French extremism, I guess.
Yeah.
Casper, who? No way.
Oh, yes, okay. Oh, jeez, yeah. Yeah, there's Gladiator, there's Troy, Alexander, and I guess if you want to count it, 300.
Yeah.
I don't, and it's probably not accurate to be referring to all these as biblical epics.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, let's.
Spartacus. I wouldn't call that biblical.
No, true. It's just it's like there's a lot of different terminologies that you could use to describe these, and they're all wrong.
Yeah.
Biblical epic, Greek epic, Roman epic.
Yeah.
They're not all based around Romans. They're not all based around Greeks. They're not all based on stories from the Bible. But you get it. Yeah, you know what the all-encompassing references are. Yeah, of those four from like the new wave, Gladiator easily is the best of the four.
Yeah.
I was not a very big fan of Troy when I first saw it.
That's the one with Brad Pitt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
When I first saw it, it was a theatrical cut on DVD. Not a fan of it. And then I remember this was, again, just years and years and years ago. They released an extended cut, which I was like, okay. I would be intrigued into checking this out.
Yeah.
And I remember back then, people still gave a fuck about physical copies of films, DVDs, Blu-rays, and etc. And every Sunday morning, I would flip through the Best Buy flyer to see what the deals are on DVDs. And I saw that they fucked up. They were like, for $5, here's the extended cut of Troy. And they meant to have like the bare bones release, but they had like the uber limited edition that's like really thick, sturdy box with like production photos, glossy print, and just an insane amount of detail in it. And I was like, ooh, they fucked up. I'm going to take that.
You fucked up!
You bitch! You really fucked up! But, shout out to Ween.
We need to get Ween involved in more of our podcasts.
We do. And, I went there. Conveniently enough, I ran into a guy that I got along with in college the one year I went, and he was working there because that's how the college system works.
Yeah.
And he was like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I'll tell you what's going on. And then I walked out of there with a really, really expensive copy of a movie for $5. But yeah, way better in the extended cut.
Yeah.
And also, in the couple times that I've watched the extended cut, the presence of Brad Pitt with the physique he has compels me to start doing sit-ups right then and there as I'm watching the movie.
See, that's the exact same feeling I get when I see Brad Pitt in Fight Club.
Understandable, definitely.
Like I actually at the old house on 4th Street, one day I was watching Fight Club. I'm like, you know what? I can fucking do that. So I started doing like push-ups. Movie still playing. And I'm like, fuck, I can't see what's going on in the movie. So I changed it to sit-ups.
Start trying to do some amateur liposuction.
Yeah.
You got some fat to make soap.
Yeah.
And then also would help with the push-ups and sit-ups and everything. Alexander, which is a notorious flop. I didn't mind it. I saw it in theaters. I thought it was good.
Which one's that one?
It's one with Colin Farrell
Okay.
playing Alexander the Great, directed by Oliver Stone.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when the movie was coming, leading up to the release of the movie, like, the big controversy around it was the homosexuality in the movie. And a lot, this is just a great sign of how things have changed.
Yeah.
In that, like, at the time when the movie was coming out, people were like, oh, they're trying to sensationalize his homosexuality, whereas nowadays it's like, make it gayer.
Yeah.
We gotta make it gayer so that we have some equality.
You PC, bro?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I want to really try to tiptoe around this because I really don't want to make it sound wrong. But I went to see the movie with my father.
Yeah.
He's not a homophobe. That would not be the proper terminology
Yeah.
to use for him at all. I would say the best way to describe it, it's like he has no problem with homosexuality. He just doesn't want to see it.
Yeah.
He loves Modern Family. He watches like every episode that's on.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't really know if you could say that someone that makes a habit of watching a sitcom that involves a gay married couple.
Yeah. A garried couple.
Yeah, you go. That's what I started to say. Yes. If they continuously and make a habit of watching a show with a gay married couple with an adopted baby, I don't think you could say that they're homophobic at all. It's just that he just doesn't like seeing that. But he had no problem with it. Yeah, I remember I brought it to him, well, what'd you think about that? And he was like, it's just part of the story. It is what it is. And yeah, that's pretty much what it was in the movie.
Right.
Of course, now everyone's problem with the movie is they think that everyone was overacting and Angelina Jolie couldn't figure out what fucking accent she wanted to do. Okay, whatever. Well, I don't know.
Sounds like an Angelina Jolie role.
She kind of sounds like a vampire throughout the whole movie. Like the Transylvania thing going on. Yeah, it's weird, but whatever. It's Oliver Stone. I don't expect Oliver Stone to be normal.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened to Oliver Stone too, by the way? That was he was top tier director with JFK and Platoon and Natural Born Killers, and then just boom, nothing. And then there's the last one there is 300.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Of those four that you've mentioned, 300 is the only one that I own on HD DVD.
Hold on to that. That's a collector's item.
Oh, absolutely. It's going nowhere
What's
because
funny
no one will take it.
What's funny is that I'm saying that as a joke now. I wouldn't be surprised in the least bit if 10 years down the line, it legitimately is a collector's item.
Well, then they're going to love my HD DVD copy of Transformers.
Piece of shit horror movies that were released on VHS are now going for literally hundreds of dollars.
Oh, yeah.
No one back then would have ever thought that.
Yeah.
It's a matter of nostalgia.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, at this point, the entire concept of physical media is going out the window.
Yeah.
In preference for streaming, downloadable rentals, downloadable buys, etc. So I think if you give it 10 or 15 years, DVDs and Blu-rays are going to be treated the way that fringe horror VHS tapes are being treated right now. There's going to be a lot of people that, for nostalgic purposes, are seeking these things out.
Right.
And also probably a more obvious version of it would be the way the vinyls are seeked out.
Yeah.
Right now.
Sought out.
Yeah. I knew when I said it that wasn't right, and I was just like, I don't know why. I'm holding my beer bottle like it's an Oscar that I just won, and I'm giving an acceptance speech.
Are you doing the cupping with the bottom, cupping the bottom?
I'm not cupping the bottom. It's just I have one hand wrapped around the base, and then I have one that's kind of halfway on the base and the neck, and I'm just kind of twisting it.
Like a baseball bat type thing?
That's better, yeah. That's a little bit more manly, like holding a baseball bat instead of I'm a star.
I'm walking across the stage.
I like wearing the red dress. I still remember that one video I made where I just took the clip of her going, I like wearing the red dress. And I just spliced Stan from American Dad going, well, dumb bitches like dumb things. So yeah, I'll briefly go back to this movie. Don't worry. I'll just a little bit of trivia. Yeah. Just a little behind the scenes sort of stuff. The director, Giorgio Ferroni, his career was pretty much just doing, these sort of cash-in movies.
Yeah.
He made some other Peplum movies. One spaghetti western. And he also made a horror movie called Night of the Devils, which I've heard of.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a sought-after title, both because it's hard to find, and even when you do find it, you're normally not finding the uncut version.
Okay.
And people that have seen the uncut version, which isn't many, have very good things to say about it. So I was going to say I need to seek that out. I have it. I just haven't watched it. The lead actor in the movie, Mark Forrest, has a wonderful name.
Yeah.
Let's say that right out the gate. He made 13 movies in his career. 12 of them were Peplum movies.
Yeah. How many of those were Machiste movies?
I didn't count that. I was just like, that's a Peplum. That's a Peplum. That's a Peplum. Paddle the school's canoe. That's a paddling. How many Simpsons references is that for the? There's at least 2. I know. I did the Willie Hears Ya.
Yeah,
line.
There's that. There's the one you just did. There was. I want to say there was one more, but it may have been before we started.
I think it was before we started.
Yeah.
The I'm someone else. He's right.
Yeah.
The other movie he made was one of the movies that the Peplum genre was ripping off, called The Egyptian. And then the actress playing Helen of Troy, Yvonne Furneaux. It's kind of hard to tell because it's 3 vowels followed by an X.
Yeah. Furneaux.
Yeah, it's like you're daring me.
Yeah.
She actually has pretty impressive filmography. She was in Fellini's La Dolce Vita.
Oh, nice.
She was in Roman Polanski's Repulsion. Both of those films are part of the Criterion Collection, so that's something.
Yeah.
Both films are also fantastic. She was in the Hammer horror film, The Mummy.
Oh, nice.
And probably not as impressive, she was in a movie called Frankenstein's Great Aunt Tilly. Kind of want to see that. For the
based on the title.
Yes. And that'll bring us back. Let's make 3 in a row. Frankenstein the Rapist.
Yeah.
Which, based off of the last episode, I did briefly skim through the downloaded copy of that I found. I can't remember how the fuck I found it.
Yeah.
And I don't what this is clearly a movie made by an insane person. Yeah. You have no idea what the fuck I saw. It's like it.
I don't think you have any idea what the fuck you saw the way you're describing.
If the movie's 90 minutes long, at least an hour of it is just a compilation of looking naked women on crucifixes. This is it. I'm seriously skimming through this movie like a whole minute-long chunk at a time, and it's like, oh, it's just another woman on the crucifix. Oh, another. What the fuck? Where's the plot here? And then at a certain point, I guess he just ran out of footage, so he just went with like a slideshow.
Oh my god, I'm gonna have to watch this.
I don't know, man.
Well, it's not on Letterboxd, so maybe I shouldn't.
It's not on Letterboxd, but it might be on Netflix.
Yeah.
maybe not the best choice for Netflix and chill.
Yeah.
Oh my god, people will listen to this podcast a year from now and I can't believe they fucking said Netflix and chill. Yeah. I knew the moment that trend started, I was like, people, I already hate this.
Yeah.
So I think, I don't know. You have anything? Any parting words?
Not really. That's kind of my feelings toward this movie and presumably the Peplum movement in as a whole is like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that sounds about right for me too. This is pretty much my only experience with the genre. I think I've watched. There were a couple of the Hercules ones with Steve Reeves that was on Mystery Science Theater.
Okay.
And I think I've watched one or two of them. But they didn't leave much of an impression on me. There's maybe a couple of them that I'd be morbidly curious to watch.
Yeah.
There's Hercules Against the Moon Men.
Yeah.
And Hercules in the Haunted World. One of those is directed by Mario Bava.
Huh.
I can't remember which one. But he's always, from my experience watching Mario Bava movies, he's got one hell of an eye. So if nothing else, it would be visually entertaining.
Yeah.
Outside of that, this movie does not encourage me to check the genre out any further.
There was one, I don't even know if it's a Peplum movie called the Rape of the Sabine Women, I believe.
Join us next week for our theme rape movies.
Yeah. That could honestly be a genre.
We're going to be talking about the Rape of the Sabine Women, Frankenstein the Rapist, and Rape Squad.
Yeah. I really liked that one. That was
Rape Squad?
Yeah. Well,
you watched it?
Yeah, I've seen it. Well, Act of Vengeance is the actual title, but I prefer calling it Rape Squad.
Who wouldn't?
Yeah. But
I would love to find a poster of that.
Yeah.
Find a poster, hang it up, and every time someone walks into the house, like the moment they see that, and like I can tell they're just doing like the, oh yeah, I just turn around and start giving them like that smile of like, yeah, I dare you to say something.
Yeah.
You wanna? I know you wanna. Well, I think that will about do it for us this week. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Yeah.
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
Subscribe to us on YouTube. I don't think we're doing anything else social media wise. Oh, well, we do have a SoundCloud channel.
Yeah. SoundCloud, if that's your preferred route.
Yes.
Opposed to YouTube.
Listen to us on SoundCloud. I don't know if there's there's got to be something to follow.
You can follow people on SoundCloud. I follow Deadmau5.
Okay.
I think that's it.
Well, yeah, we don't know Instagram because we're an audio podcast. What purpose would we have of photos?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I just posted a photo to the Facebook page. At the beginning of this recording.
Okay. Well, all right. But yes, please follow, like, subscribe.
Spread the word. Share
recommend.
us. Yeah.
Yes. Spread us.
Tweet us.
Like a virus.
Mm-hmm. A sexually transmitted virus. Is that the term? Should we mention the Patreon?
Well, we already mentioned the Patreon.
Just the Powerball winners, but it applies to everybody.
I think I might have to do a little update on the Patreon, too. I haven't gone there in a while.
Okay.
So it might actually still refer to us as a video podcast.
Okay.
But, yes, also, if you feel like it, give us money.
Yeah.
That would be super cool.
Yeah. We enjoy doing this. We want to be able to keep doing it.
Yeah, most definitely. Oh, yeah. Plus, also, if we can actually be financially stable as a result of this, we can do more with it. So
we could have T-shirts made.
Yes. Alrighty. So thanks for stopping by.
Yeah. See you next week.
Yep.